You know how sometimes you read something and it's so dense with symbolism it feels like you're trying to solve a puzzle? Well, that's exactly what we're doing today. We're unlocking a really powerful and mysterious vision from a medieval text. It's a story told through fire, darkness, and stars, which back then was a pretty common way to explore these huge theological ideas. So let's dive in and decode this incredible vision together.
So right out of the gate, the vision opens with this absolutely breathtaking image. The narrator says, "I saw a bright fire which was incomprehensible, inextinguishable, wholly living." You've got to understand this isn't just a flame, it's a living, breathing force, and it's the very foundation for everything else we're about to see.
So, what is this all-encompassing fire? Well, lucky for us, the text itself drops some pretty big clues about what it all means.
Okay, now check out this analogy. It's pretty wild. The flame can't be separated from the fire, right? Just like your internal organs are, well, they're part of you. The text uses this really visceral image to explain a massive concept, that this infinite word was an inherent, inseparable part of the Creator existing before anything else was even made.
And then, the text just comes right out and tells us. The bright fire, it stands for the omnipotent and living God. And that whole incomprehensible part? That's because it represents a state of pure goodness, something completely untouched by any kind of evil. It's just this incredibly powerful metaphor for absolute purity and power.
But from this overwhelming light, something totally different emerges. The vision introduces two new things, a humble piece of earth and a spreading darkness. And this is where the story of humanity really begins.
So get this is how humanity is first represented. Not as some glorious shining creation, but as a little clod of muddy earth. Then, the fire breathes warmth into it, bringing forth body and blood. It's an image of incredible humility and total dependence on that divine fire for life itself.
But right alongside this new life, a darkness appears, and it has a huge effect. This darkness represents imperfection, a kind of fallen state. And humanity, this new creation, is described as being just too weak to lift itself out of this situation. It's trapped in a state it can't escape from on its own.
And there you have it, the central conflict of the whole vision laid out perfectly. On one side, you have the immense, life-giving power of the divine fire, and on the other, there's fragile humanity, literally formed from mud and weighed down by an imperfection it can't shake. I mean, that is a classic setup for a story of salvation if I've ever seen one. Just as things are looking pretty bleak, the vision introduces a new element of hope. Within this darkness, little points of light start to appear. Now, these aren't random. They represent key figures who act as guides, like beacons in a very dark world. First up, 3 big stars appear, all the same size. The text is super clear here, identifying them as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the great patriarchs. They're also described as being figurative of the Trinity, and through their actions, they helped push back against the world's darkness. After the patriarchs, an even larger, brighter star comes into view. And this, the vision tells us, is John the Baptist. His job is to basically direct everyone's attention back toward that original flame, getting everyone ready for the vision's big climax. He's the final and the greatest of these guiding lights. And this leads us to the most dramatic moment in the entire vision. A new figure doesn't just show up in the darkness like the stars did. No, this figure emerges directly from the divine fire itself, ready to confront the darkness head-on.
The text describes them simply as a very peaceful person. They come out of that pure brightness and step right toward the dark, imperfect world. So the question the whole vision has been building toward is, who is this person?
And the answer brings us full circle. This person is the Word made flesh. Remember that infinite Word from the very beginning, the one that was inseparable from the Creator? Well, this is its physical manifestation, stepping out of the symbolic fire and right into the story of humanity.
The vision describes this clear 3-step act of redemption. First, the person pours light into the darkness. And notice, they don't destroy it, they illuminate it. This act makes the imperfection visible and bright. Then finally, the person is lifted up, having fundamentally transformed the whole human condition.
Okay, well, that was a lot to take in, right? An entire theological drama played out in symbols. So, just to make sure it all sticks, let's do a quick recap of what each major piece of this complex allegory represents. As you can see, when it's all laid out, each piece has a very specific meaning. You've got the divine fire as God, the clod of earth representing our own fragile humanity, and the darkness as our imperfection. The prophets act as these guiding stars, leading to that ultimate redemptive act of the Word made flesh. So when you put it all together, the entire vision is really like a narrative map. It charts a course from a state of humble imperfection through a time of guidance from these amazing historical figures, all culminating in a single definitive act of divine redemption that changes absolutely everything.
And that leaves us with a final thought. This vision used the symbols of its time to tell a really profound story about the human condition. It kind of makes you wonder, what are the powerful symbols in our world today, and what kinds of stories are we telling with them?